Okay, welcome everyone. We have Doug Fonder here with us today from the International Swim Coaches Association. Doug, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks, John, for asking.
Absolutely. So, what do you like most about coaching? Because you seem to love it.
I think you can make a difference in kids' lives. You know what I'm saying? I think you can help them understand that can't is not a word you should carry with you. You know, uh, through work, you can accomplish anything. And the thing I liked about swimming is, say, different so than football. Okay, you can have the greatest desire in the world, like Rudy, okay,
Right.
to be a great football player. But if you don't have the physical tools, and today the physical tools, if you want to be a lineman in football, you better weigh 300 pounds. Okay?
Right.
If you want to be a running back in football today, you better run 4.1, 4.2, 4.3 speed, you know? And everybody doesn't have that genes, doesn't have that ability to do that. I really believe in swimming with the fact that there's distance swimming, there's strokes, and there's sprints. There's a spot for every even person's type of body type. And how much they want to work and how much desire they have to be good. I think it doesn't mean everybody's got potential to be an Olympian, but everybody has potential to learn from it and take it as far as they want it with D3 swimming and D2 swimming and D1 swimming. There's some place for everybody, you know. There's a spot for everybody. And I think their GPAs of swimmers are always higher than most sports. I think their ability on a job later on in life, because they learn that you get out of it what you put in it. They learn about getting up in the morning and staying at a task for a long time. So there's a lot of real lifelong lessons, you learn through swimming.
Right.
And I think because it's an individual sport, you can't blame it on the other guy who didn't block or didn't pass you the ball.
That's right. You get the whole heat right to yourself,
yeah.
right? Either way.
And people can't jump in your lane and stop you. I mean, you learn truthfulness real fast.
Right. Very, very straightforward. What do you feel like in your swimming? Because you've dealt with these incredible athletes for so long. Would you feel, in your opinion, what's more important, passion or performance, in your opinion?
Well, I think A goes with B. In other words, if
that was running through my mind when I asked that question to you.
Okay.
Yep.
A kid has to have passion and desire to be good. If they have that and the coaching knows what to do, you're going to get great performances. But an athlete, the worst word I hear is when someone says, well, that guy's got really good potential. Okay. What that really means is he doesn't have passion. Because if he has the potential and he has the passion, he's going to be good.
Right. Having both of them together is such a big deal.
It is. And the kids that are really great have that natural feel for the water with that passion. And that's where you get the super, super great athletes.
So a lot of times somebody says they're talented, they're talking about their feel for the water.
Yeah. I mean, they just feel the magic. You know what I'm saying?
Got it. A little bit off this topic. You, for some reason, have an attribute that my dad, I remember growing up with, he had this attribute, is that you two seem to be multi-generational, which means you seem to like people of all ages. Is that right? You seem to get along with everybody.
I mean, why not? You know what I mean? I mean, if you go through life unhappy all the time, why? You know what I mean? Might as well get along with everybody.
Right. And although my dad...
And you learn from everybody. I mean, everybody can bring some learning tools to you.
Right.
Everybody.
Right. And that's my dad is about he's 82 now, so he's older. Um,
Yeah,
and
he's fun to talk to. I enjoy
yeah,
talking.
he still works in company. What he was telling me is funny. He says as you get older in years, he says you have less of the friends that you started with are here, of course, right? He says, but you know what? There's a whole set of new friends coming.
Yeah,
He
and that's
always
true.
has friends. That's wonderful to be able to do that. It's really neat. You and I have gotten to know each other in the recent past, and I have to say I'm tremendously impressed with the things that you folks are doing over there. And I wanted to see if we could bring even more exposure to how you're impacting the world of swimming, not just even in this country, but all over the world. And so, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you just a couple questions to start out and find out how you got into the position you're in, and then we want to find out some more about this incredible program you have with ISCA, which is the International Swim Coaches Association.
Well,
So
basically, the only program going at the time was ISCA, which is American Swim Coaches Association. And we felt that their educational components were outdated, and that the fact that the world in swimming was getting pretty flat, and we had to be able to, if we were going to grow, and if swimming was going to grow, there had to be relationships across the world of swimming, not just in America. Um, so we created the International Swim Coaches Association. Along with that,
when did you start that, by the way?
probably 10 years ago.
Okay.
Okay. And to get it off the ground, we had to find a source for funding it. So what we did is we started out by running a unique meet at the time, a single age group national championship for 14 and under swimmers. And that really became very, very successful. Um, for a fact, now we have a West Coast version held at Mission Viejo, and we have an East Coast version held down in St. Petersburg, Florida.
I love swimming in Mission Viejo too. It's a fast
Yeah.
pool for me.
And then we also found that there was a shortage in the summer of a meet. You had high level senior national meet, you got your high level junior in the summer, but there wasn't something for college kids that maybe didn't want to go to seniors. Maybe it was in a location where it was too expensive. Maybe the timing wasn't best for them and all that. So we ran a senior meet, and we encouraged a lot of foreign coaches to come. And we had probably 10 foreign teams last summer at our senior meet, and it was very successful. We almost had 900 and some senior swimmers. And the entries to get in were lower, so a team could bring almost their whole senior group, but the competition at the top was very good. We break it out 16 and under, and then senior.
Got it. So these meets are really important for the swimmers and for the teams. It releases some of the financial pressure on them, but they can get great competition. Is that right?
Right. It also gives us a source of income to operate ISCA from.
And so when we're funding, right, and we're funding this organization, ISCA, can you tell us a little bit about the philosophy on what the ISCA ultimately does for the swimming community? Because I know you've got some incredible experts there in the brain and technique. You've got innovators, right? You've got people all over the world that are helping the swimming community. What is it that you're really trying to do to impact?
What we're trying to do is collect the sports science, the psychology people of the sport, the biomechanics people of the sport, all of the key components that go into helping swimmers get better. And we're trying to bring it into one vehicle, one avenue where we can share it easily with anybody who wants to get it in the world.
So it seems to me like in some ways this has a very different function than ISCA or any of these other big organizations. You seem like you really targeted some needs of this community that haven't been served by other organizations, and you really did. And I mean, you have so many people that you know in the swimming world. It seems like anybody you talk to knows Doug Fonder, and a lot of them describe you as a good friend. So it's amazing, the
That's good.
relationship that you, and I feel it already. I mean, it's wonderful to talk with you. So when you're doing this, so you're able to and basically connect. It seems like some of these really great resources, some of these fantastic people and experts in their field, and get that information flowing. So it's not just held by the experts, but it's actually delivered. Is that
And
correct?
shared.
And shared.
You know, it's kind of like when you look at selling a product. A product might be the best product in the world, but if it can't be branded and marketed, it does no one any good. Okay, so what we try to do is help people brand and market. You know, get their stuff out there. You know, and I guess the reason, myself being a dumb ex-football player, I know I don't have the brains or the resources to make it happen. So what I do is try to find the smart people that have it and share that with other people.
Folks, he's sandbagging on that. He's
You know,
but
and I think it's
you're
going.
really
And I
able
think,
to bring people together, though.
you know, and I think the best thing I could say is that what the goal of ISCA is to bring all these people together so they can share with the whole community of swimming everything. And we want to try to reach all parts of the world, you know, the underprivileged, the privileged, the whole thing, to make swimming better.
I have a question for you a little bit now. You and I have been talking about the program, the FM Fast Track,
Right?
that you're familiar with, and just wondering how you felt this would help the teams and the coaches and the swimmers right now.
I mean, I think we live in a, especially since the pandemic, we know we live in a world of internet, of video, of Zooms, of watching stuff, of
It's a
stuff,
lot of digital world, right? Yeah.
real digital world. And for me, who grew up in the non-digital world, it's almost like a new world. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But to kids um, out there, they're accustomed to it, and it's their way of existence, and it's their way of communicating. And so what I really think is that if kids are going to get excited about swimming, it's not just to practice it there, but what can they learn on their own out there that's valuable to them and their parents and everybody else. Because I really, really strongly believe that the only way you can have really true success in the sport of swimming is if the parent, the swimmer, and the coach are in the same triangle, and they're all focusing on the same things. So if a parent of that swimmer can get educated in these things, and the coach says, hey, this is really good, I'm going to help them, you know, you just got another tool to teach somebody. Because the other problem is, with the internet, there's a lot of bad stuff out there.
Right.
What I mean, it's like anybody can say they're a professional at something and put it on the internet, and you know, some people can believe it. So a lot of people get false information. So if they can get good information,
Right.
good, solid, scientific based information, they're going to have a much better tool to work with and help that athlete reach his potential.
Yep. You know, and that's a great point, because keeping on the same, right, getting everybody on the same page, basically, to work together is sometimes very difficult. And having, like you said, good solid information, because the internet's like a kind of like a double-edged sword. And they say sometimes that some of the most expensive information you can get is free advice. And that means everybody's got an opinion, and they'll share it with you. The question is, do they know what they're doing? Because let's say they give you the wrong opinion, you can put all your time, effort, and money chasing something that isn't actually going to help you, and you chase down this road so far. And what you did for us, in a way, is saying, look, we've got to keep this price because it's over like $1,000 worth of tools that we put on there. Just the avatars alone, we spent almost $2 million animating the Discovery Center, right, where they can learn all kinds of great things about swimming. All these tools to help you with race mapping, to break out your races and your time splits. All these things are available, as well as our video series, and they're all great programs. So if you've got mental the mental game, you want to bring that up, your strength, your energy, like in-water training, all these tools are on there. And
the more I think about it, John, when you reach out to a coach, he can have the right to hand pick. So in other words, it correlates to what he's doing in his practices. He can correlate that with topics that you have within your stuff.
Center, right? Yeah.
So it's almost like advanced learning. The coach can say, hey, now after you do this, check this out on the stuff we got, because every member of our team now is involved with it. Check this out, and then you'll be able to see it again and have your parents check it out. So everybody knows what you're working on, and it would make the job of a coach so much easier.
So much easier, because it puts the tools in the hands of the parents and the kids to help while they're not on the pool deck.
Correct. And so when a coach is saying this and working on it, they've seen it. Because see, again, learning, okay? They say visual learning is still the number one form of learning there is. Okay? There's no misconception. Visual learning is the number one. Okay? Now, in swimming, you're not seeing much. Freestyle, your face is down in the water. Butterfly, your face is down in the water. Breaststroke, you might be able to look up a little bit.
Somebody's in your lane, right?
No, backstroke, you're looking up. So what I'm saying, being able to see it at another way, looking at some additional things, helps them understand what they're trying to do and makes the coaching job, I think, that much easier. Also, with your stuff, they're hearing it, okay? Hearing is probably the second best after visual form of learning,
right?
And then hands-on, from what you heard and what you see, it's much easier to start doing because you got an image of what you are trying to accomplish.
Right. So we're hitting with the coach. We're hitting 3 different modalities, basically, right? It's coming in through their sight first, which is where humans are based first, right? Then second, right, you've got the hearing side of it, and you're listening to understand it. And third, the coach is in there and helping you during the time you're feeling it in the water. And so we've actually animated water, and we've animated force, so you can see that your timing is right there for all strokes, starts, turns in the animations. You can see them from every angle. So that's kind of a neat thing. And from what Brad, right? And Brad works with you, if I'm correct.
Correct. And Brad's an excellent individual.
And so Brad Glenn is really such a great asset. And he was saying what's really neat about it is internationally, it goes across the language barrier is broken down because it's visual, which is great. I mean, and so a lot of that is already done. You can just see it and use it. They can also use it right on deck with their iPad or their iPhone or any type of smart phone or tablet. And so you can show the kids right there what you want to teach them. And you can also do right on the deck, or the kids can, you can do their splits prior to. So these are the splits you're going to have to hit. This is how you have to train. And it'll even give you the cycle rate at how fast they need to cycle at. And so it's really neat that way. And
so
we
then the coach's job is he's got to catch their tempo and say, hey, your cycle rate is 1.6, but to make the time you want, you got to be 1.3. So they have already seen it, they understand it, so they know exactly what he's talking about.
Right. And yeah, it breaks it all down for them. And then there's also the college pipeline. So this goes from 8th grade to 12th grade to help the kids have a step-by-step approach, guided to get into college. And that program itself, Doug, was, and before you came along, that was $499 per year just for that. So it's $499. It's all included for less than $10 a month. Again, we want to kind of give you an idea. We've reduced the cost of it, and that was at at ISCA's request. So we pulled it down from something with like $1,000 for a year down to $99 per child for a whole year.
And when you think about it, right now today, there's goggles out there that are $85, $90.
Oh my gosh, mine were $3 when I first got
I know, but they're out there now, $85, $90 and probably going up. But what I'm saying is, this one thing is a year's subscription to constant learning. Right. And with the kids being in the situation you're in today, this year coming up, with not a lot of in-school thing, I mean, this almost could be a course. It should be in the hands of every, and like you say, I didn't even think of this, but I remember when you were telling me about it, the club or the coach can get some residual off it too. So
right.
it could be used for extra money to purchase something for the club or something.
Right. And then
so, I mean, it's a win-win. It's a win-win situation. I think, truthfully, and I wish I had another 24 hours in a day, because getting to every coach, to get your stuff in the hands of every team, and the ability, and I'm hoping still that Rod Havlicek, who is probably one of the #1 biomechanic people in the world, can get his optimal thing closer with you, so it can,
right, his optimal technique. Because he's done a phenomenal job. He actually studied in Indiana University and worked there, if I'm right, under Doc Councilman, like I did. It's such a great place where all this science was coming out. And I think you also see, so he's great at what he does. You also have, if I'm right, expert in brain, right, in mental work and aspects like that. You've got some phenomenal people, and if we can get that word out to people and join forces to help swimming as a community, and I think you've been kind of putting an umbrella, is what it seems like to me, over the world of swimming, not just from one country, and that's why it's international. It's to bring the swimming community as a whole together to really help these experts get it down to the deck and get it down into the water with the swimmers.
Exactly.
And that's where I think that this organization has really seemed to start to blossom even more, is when you realize you're getting into the water with the swimmers and all these people's expertise, which I don't think has been successfully done over long term before. I'm just seeing such and you've got so many coaches that are communicating, connecting with you guys. I just want to thank you so much. I can't imagine that as the information comes out through ISCA, and I know you're very particular, make sure the information is right, it's coming from the right sources, you've got experts to test this and make sure that that right information gets into the hands of people that need it. I just can't imagine that the swimming world, with the way you're absorbing information and looking at it and passing it on through your organization, how can they get your information if they don't know how to already? They sign up for your mailing list, is that right? And
yeah, they can become a member. They sign up for the mailing list. They reach out to us, come to some of our events, type thing.
Got it. So they would just look up. Is it International Swim?
It's SwimISCA. It's SwimISCA.org.
SwimISCA.org, and you can become a member of ISCA, and you can start getting.
I think it's $75
a year, and you can get this great information. And it'll be coming through Brad and Doug and all their experts. And I think
so. We normally hold a yearly science-based clinic too.
Fantastic.
But of course, this year we didn't hold it because.
How would they get information on that?
We mass send out. We get, we keep building our email list. We're up to about 23,000, people that we send stuff to all the time, and we keep trying to get more.
Okay, and that's mainly for coaches, is that right?
Correct.
Got it. So coaches would sign up that way, and then they can help their kids because they're learning more, and right.
We try to then send information on stuff like what you're having to offer, what somebody else having to offer. Our thing is about giving them all the resources that are out
You're like a conduit, just
Yeah, there you
bringing
go.
in information, helping people get the right, and then also filtering it to make sure it makes sense, that information. So you're not giving them information that doesn't work for them. It helps always. Great.
John, thank you so much for this.
My pleasure. Thank you, Doug. I really appreciate it.